This is take 2 of episode 40. Holy crap, Jacob, we've already gotten there.
I know, it's crazy. 40 episodes so far.
I know, it's nuts. And today we are going to be talking about Good Time from the Safdie Brothers. We just recorded a bit for this, and yeah, didn't work out. But we're going to be doing this again because you know what? This is in the way. Why is that in the way? It'll go away in a minute. Anyway, so we're talking about Good Time. I'm Britton.
I'm Jacob.
And again, like I mentioned, today we're going to be talking about the Safdie Brothers breakout movie, Good Time, starring Robert Pattinson, Benny Safdie, one of the directors, and some other people are in this movie. I can't think of their name. Jennifer Jason Leigh's in this movie for a couple of minutes, so is that?
Yeah.
So, what were we saying? Yes. Fantastic movie. I actually think a little spicy take for the audience here. I think I actually like this movie more than Uncut Gems, even though Uncut Gems is a more polished movie, you could argue, and you could tell. And from according to the Safdie Brothers, that movie was more of a passion project for them. This was just sort of a side project they were doing.
I'm the exact opposite. I think I like Uncut Gems more.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's a great movie. Also, if you can hear the echo, they've been remodeling my house for the past couple months, so now they finally got into my office, so it's gonna be very echoey. Also, if you hear some other stuff, that's probably my mom moving around, so there you go. Yeah, so, yeah, we're gonna be talking about Good Time today. Here, just mentioned this earlier, our 4th A24 movie, and, I want to talk about more of them, because A24 just makes banger movies, or they distribute banger movies.
Oh, they do. If you want to watch good, original, indie-type movies, just go watch some A24 films. Oh,
yeah, I think they're making the most groundbreaking films today. At least the most interesting films being made today.
Indeed.
I mean, our first episode was about an A24 movie, The Green Knight, which was my favorite movie last year.
Yeah.
His was Spider-Man No Way Home. That was my second favorite, though, because I love that movie. It was an excellent movie. But Good Time is the movie, aside from The Lighthouse, that proved that Robert Pattinson was not just sparkly vampire guy. He was also sleazy criminal guy as well.
Indeed. This is definitely his breakout role.
Did we do the thing? I'm Britton.
I'm Jacob.
And like I said, we're talking about Good Time.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Alright, continue what you were saying. Sorry, I just was like, did we not say that?
Oh, we already said it.
Oh, we did? Damn it. Alright. Never mind.
But yeah, this film was definitely the breakout role for Robert Pattinson. Proves that he is a phenomenal actor, and he is not just like Twilight sparkly skin guy, you know?
Oh, yeah. Poor Robert Pattinson. Even he doesn't like Twilight. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, it's not his fault those movies suck.
But no, he killed it in this movie, he killed it in The Lighthouse, and he also killed it in the recent Batman movie, which is kind of starting to, which is a contender for my favorite movie of the year. A lot of people are telling me that Everything Everywhere All at Once is great. I still need to see that, so didn't see it in the theaters because sadly I just didn't get the time to catch it, but I want to.
You missed out.
I know Jacob saw it and he loved it, so. Also another A24 movie.
There you go.
Yes, indeed. I'm looking for. They made another movie called Swiss Army Man, which, oh boy, that'll be an interesting episode whenever we get to that one, because that movie's just strange.
Oh yes, can't wait for that.
Oh jeez. But you know what else is a good movie? Good Time.
Yeah.
No pun intended. This feels more, I guess a more appropriate pun would be, well, it was a good time. Yeah, okay.
Pretty lame.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty lame. So, yeah, this is basically the Safdie Brothers' big breakout movie before they did Uncut Gems.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like this movie's almost a throwback to like older films from like the 70s, like stuff that Michael Mann would have made. It's like a more sleazy Michael Mann movie. Also reminded me a lot of Bad Lieutenant, not the Nicolas Cage one, the original one with Harvey Keitel, which is excellent, by the way. Underrated movie. Or King of New York, which was made by the same guy, Abel Ferrara, a very underrated director in my opinion. It feels a lot like that. Very grungy, grimy, just unpleasant movie in the best way possible. Jacob, I've been rambling on. What do you think about it?
Oh, Good Time. It's an excellent film with great direction from the Safdie Brothers. And one thing they absolutely nail with this and Uncut Gems is that they're both very anxiety-inducing films. Like, they get your heart pumping and they stress you out in the best way possible. Like, there are moments in this film that are just straight up cringeworthy, but I respect it. I like it because rarely do I ever see a film where there's like where I cringe.
I know it's. I think I know. I think it's the same thing. I think it's the same scene that you're thinking of. But there's just one scene in this movie where I just wince. I'm like, oh god. Oh, why? But not in like a bad way. It doesn't take away from how I feel about this movie, which has become a recent favorite of mine over the last couple years. I actually first heard about it from Chris Stuckman and Ralph the Movie Maker. I don't know about you.
I heard it from Chris Stuckman.
Yep. But yeah, this movie is really good though. Aside from the fact it is anxiety inducing. You're constantly on the move. It's basically like a Breaking Bad episode.
It is.
I don't know how much. I don't know how far you are in the break. I know you said you started it. I don't know how far you are into it, but
Season 2.
Oh, you're in season 2. But yeah, I think Good Time's a great movie. It's just constantly on the edge of your seat. There's not a lot of action, but it does keep the suspense up and going.
Oh yeah, because as I said, very anxiety-inducing.
Indeed, it's a very uncomfortable movie, but I say it in the best way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's not a bad film, I promise. It's very good.
It's a great film.
It's a great movie. But yeah, there's not really much else to say from Blurred Thoughts aside from this is a very grungy, uncomfortable movie, but I really enjoy it nonetheless. Aside from the fact that it's very grungy and unpleasant.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Like, you can just feel the grime and just everything feels disgusting, like dirty in this film.
Yeah, in that way, for me, it kind of feels like a David Fincher movie in regards to like everything looks so disgusting and just grungy.
Yeah, I was about to say, just like his earlier films, they look really grungy and just like, yeah, you get the shivers.
Yeah, you just feel disgusted, but in a good way. Just like,
It's like that scene from Gravity Falls where Dipper does an impression of Pacifica. He's like, I bet when we'll show it in her face, he just goes, ooh. That's what she does, right? Ooh.
Yeah. That's all I have
It's so
right now.
stupid. It's so... But, yeah. So... Yeah, that's kind of... That's kind of all I can say about Good Time in terms of like blurb thoughts. It's a really strong movie, pretty disturbing at times, but it's a great one. It's a great crime thriller.
Indeed, A24, they always make bangers.
Oh Lord, always making the bangers. Almost always. I'm sure they've made one or two bad ones, but I haven't seen it yet. They recently put out a new movie called Bodies, 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 which at both times I'm curious to see it, but at the same time, it's not usually a movie I would go see.
Me either, but if it has A24 on it, then I'll at least be curious.
Yeah, I'll be like,
it looks like a film that wouldn't really catch my interest.
Yeah, it's just like, seems kind of douchey. A24 though. And it's just kind of, I think the last movie I saw was Nope. In terms of recent movies I've seen.
Hey, me too.
Haha! So yeah, let's get into Good Time. So, we end up starting the movie with it's a screen recording. You're not gonna see you. Anyway, so the movie begins with a guy sitting in, I guess you could say it's a therapy session with this older guy, and he's asking him a bunch of questions. I forget exactly what he says, but he's just asking a bunch of questions about his just what he's doing, and he also talks about an incident he had with his grandma, which apparently it's mentioned through the movie. Their grandma's not nice.
She's not.
And he's just like, no, and you can tell there's something off with him. I don't want to use the R word, as I call it now. I don't want to say retarded, because that's just mean, but he's clearly mentally challenged somehow.
Yeah.
There's something up with him.
Yeah.
And it's actually played by Benny Safdie, one of the directors in this movie, and I'll just say this real quick. He is phenomenal in this movie. He's not even in it for like 10 or 15 minutes, and he's just fantastic.
Oh yeah. Not only is he a great director, but he's also a great actor.
Oh, most definitely. You instantly feel bad for him, and he's so believable in the role. I don't know what you think, Jacob. What do you think about this role?
Well, I couldn't agree more. His performance was very believable. He came off as someone who is mentally challenged.
Yeah, you watch the movie and you think, oh wow, that's a real. They must have gotten someone who's like really mentally challenged, and you're like, oh, this one of the directors. Big oopsie. This is awful, but it's so yeah, he's basically mentally handicapped, and he actually starts like crying, and it's really sad. And you feel really sorry for him, and then all of a sudden, here comes this guy with just this ridiculous haircut. His hair is dyed blonde, and this is Connie, Nick's brother, played by Robert Pattinson. Jacob, what do you think of Robert Pattinson in this movie? We already kind of talked about it a little bit, but what do you think of Robert Pattinson in this movie?
Robert Pattinson, before The Lighthouse came out, this was easily his best performance he's ever given. He plays a character who, as Chris said in his review of Good Time, biggest scum of the earth. But Robert Pattinson playing him, you feel bad for him, even though he's an awful character.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. This guy is just like a total scumbag, but Robert Pattinson is just so freaking believable as him, and he gives you a lot of sympathy, because really his only like redeeming aspect is that he loves his brother, and he doesn't want him to be in jail for something that he did.
No. So that's the only thing where you feel sympathy for him. But other than that, he's a scumbucket. Like, he is, like, a horrible person.
Scumbucket?
With Robert Pattinson's performance, you feel bad for him and you feel sympathy for him. It's more of like, oh, come on, dude, and less of like, oh god, I hate this dude.
I know. It's kind of like Howard in Uncut Gems. Same way. Dude's a total prick, but you kind of feel bad for him at the same time.
Exactly.
I'd probably give that to Adam Sandler because he's a very likable person.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh yeah, I forgot to say, to cash in on the discomfort level, there's a lot of just really close-up shots in this movie where you're really getting into the character's personal space, and you're just left really uncomfortable. Like, it's really close to Nick's face, and he's like crying, and then it's close up to the therapist's face, and it's like really close up on Robert Pattinson's face, and he just starts chewing out the therapist, and he's all like, well, how would you like if you started crying? It's like, how would you like it if I started making you cry? And he's like, get up. And he's like, I don't want to. And then he like literally forces Nick out of the room, and you're just like, oh my god. What do you think of this scene?
Oh, it's so uncomfortable. As you said, like, the camera is so close up to their faces. It's just, I just feel uncomfortable with this. And that's the thing that the Safdie Brothers absolutely nail. Making you feel uncomfortable, but not in a way where it's like, oh, this is so bad. It's uncomfortable in a very respectful way. Because you really see a film that makes you uncomfortable.
Yes, it's discomforting with a purpose. It's not just like, hey, we're just going to make you uncomfortable by bad filmmaking.
No, it's uncomfortable in a respectable way.
Indeed. So Connie ends up forcing Nick out of the room, and then he tells him his plan, which is he's gonna rob a New York City bank for $65,000, which of course, so of course that's what they do, and I really like how Connie is like hyping Nick up, and he's all trying to get him to like not freak out, and he's just like, look, just listen to me, and we'll get through it, all right? And while it's solidly planned, you can definitely tell they didn't really think as much about it as they could have, because so what happens is that they end up robbing the bank, and it actually goes off pretty well without a hitch. And they get the money. They wear like these like masks that are like really weird. They're really weird masks.
I know.
They're like. It's like these two black guys or something. I don't remember what it is, but it's just like, huh.
It's odd.
It's odd, yeah. It's like, what? Okay, and they're like wearing hoodies over it. It's weird. Again, kind of gives the sleaze, kind of plays into the sleazy atmosphere of this movie where you're just like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Indeed.
So what happens is they end up going into a taxi, but of course, as what happens, a dye pack blows up in the money in the money bag, exploding all over the car and then causing it to crash. And it's bad, and they end up fleeing the area once the cops show up and start surrounding the area. I think if I remember, they like arrest the taxi driver. Poor guy.
I know. They do arrest him. Poor guy.
And Connie and Nick flee on foot, and they end up going to like a McDonald's. I think it's a McDonald's or somewhere like McDonald's, and they end up trying to wash the dye out of their clothes, and Connie's kind of like, and Nick's all like, did I do something wrong? And then Connie's all like, no, you did great, man, you did great. All right, just you can just follow my lead. Then disaster strikes again when the police show up. Nick panics and runs away. Well, actually, they both panic, run away, but Connie ends up escaping while Nick panics and just like tries to run, and then just really pathetically just like runs into like some glass, falls over, and just starts wailing until the cops show up and arrest him. It's so sad.
I know.
I laugh. This is awful, but you know, it's almost funny, but you're just like, oh my god, this is horrible.
It's because like you feel bad for him, and Benny Safdie really excels in this performance.
Like it would be like a comedy if this were like in any other case, but it's just like, oh jeez, this is so sad.
Like if this were a comedy, it would definitely be funny.
Oh god, he like tries to run, and it's almost like the scene from Hot Fuzz when Angel is like, oh, he never took a shortcut, and he just like a badass just starts hopping over the fences, and then Nick Frost just like crashes through. It's basically like that, except it's like more sad than hilarious.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just like, oh man, poor Nick. But Connie managed to get away, and so yay, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just, I mean, he's a scumbucket, but his brother got captured, so
It's not good. It is not good.
No.
Not
at all.
So Connie, on the meanwhile, manages to like get away and try to like get to his contacts on the street, and he tries to secure a bail bond, and his girlfriend comes along with him played by Jason Leigh, who is it's just so gross when they're like together. I don't know, maybe I don't know, it's not that I dislike old people or something, but it's always weird when like it's like in Dexter when Lundy gets with Deborah. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I just don't know how to describe it.
I don't know how to describe. It's not like I'm against old people getting with younger people. It's just like, I don't know. I would stick with your lane, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Aside from making it sound like I don't like old people. Oh god, but his girlfriend is played by Jason Leigh. She plays Corey, and she's all like, "Oh, my sister was, yada yada." She's saying some bullshit, and Connie's like, "Yo, shut up. We need to get out of there." And he attempts to secure a bail bond. And he tries to like go to this like shady bail guy, and he tries to get him out, but unfortunately, too much of the robbery money got ruined by the die to make it be feasible.
Yeah.
So, Connie needs another $10,000 as quickly as possible in order to get his brother out of Rikers Island, which, if you've ever heard, is a very brutal place to be at.
Oh god, yeah.
And I think later, or maybe it's this scene or after, he goes to the jail and he gets maced, I think.
I think so.
Some guys like start bullying him, and he tries to like fight back, and then the cops just like mace him, and he starts crying, and you're just like, God, this is terrible.
I know, right?
Yeah, you're just like, my God, this is terrible. Just awful.
So
bad. So that's basically the idea of what the whole movie's going to be about.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to convince Corey to pay with her mother's credit cards, but sadly, her mother cancels the credit cards, so that's not going to work. And, that's not really gonna... It doesn't really pan out, but, it kind of gives you the sense that Corey isn't a very mature person, considering how old she is.
No.
So it kind of makes sense why she'd end up with someone like Connie.
Yo, yeah. Now, when you realize that, she's actually very immature.
Yep. Because she acts like a teenager at times.
She does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, now I see why you'd be with a guy like him. Makes perfect sense.
So, yeah. So after that, we get the scene where he gets maced. And Connie ends up learning that Nick got hospitalized after a fight with the inmate. So Connie decides to break into the hospital, and he manages to break who he thinks is his brother out of the hospital, and he's unconscious, he's bandaged, and it's all bad, and it's once again the suspense of this movie. It doesn't let you breathe, man.
No, this film and Uncut Gems, you don't have time to breathe. It stresses you out every single time you watch it.
Yeah, you're just given a. It's like straight. It's almost like you're gonna have a heart attack by the time this movie's gonna be over, because it's just like when he gets to the hospital, you're just on the edge of your seat. You don't know what's gonna happen. Again, I would compare it to Breaking Bad or even Heat, though Heat I think looks a lot better than, or even Collateral. It reminds me of Collateral, just like just one guy's really shitty night.
Yes, exactly, absolutely.
I think Chris Stuckman even said something similar to that.
Oh yeah, that's actually exactly what he said. Like, this film reminded me of Collateral a little bit. And I'm like, it does. I mean, as you said, one guy in a shitty night.
Yep, except it's not a taxi driver driven by our friend Cameron Holden. It's Robert Pattinson. I'm sorry. I had to.
Well, he is Cameron, so.
Oh God. So, Connie manages to get this guy out of the hospital who's unconscious and bandaged, and he goes around and starts driving around, and he ends up finding this old black lady, and he manages to convince the lady to let him stay in her house with her 16-year-old granddaughter Crystal, which, oh boy, this is where we get to the really uncomfortable stuff in this movie.
God, yeah.
Oh God. So this movie, oh God, if this was the scene that you were talking about, this is, if you know when you say, oh, this movie can't be too bad, I'm like, oh, okay, I've seen this before. Well, so Connie hangs out for a bit at the house, and he's watching TV with Crystal, the 16-year-old granddaughter. They're watching TV, and while Crystal is like getting something, and then we see Connie's face on the TV, he kisses her.
And this was the scene that I was talking about.
Yep, that was the scene I was talking about too. That's the this is the scene that you'll really remember from this movie. If nothing else from the movie, you'll recall. You'll remember that. Like, it's just so. Oh, it's so just. Jacob, do you want to talk about it real quick? I gotta gotta collect my thoughts.
Let me please, because this was a scene that I definitely remembered from this movie. Oh my God, it was so unexpected when I first watched it. My jaw was on the floor the entire time. It's so uncomfortable, and it was so unexpected, but I respected it because really, I've never watched a film that made me cringe this much in a long time, and not in like a bad way. It's not like cringeworthy in a bad way. Like, I respected what the Safdie Brothers were trying to do. Make you feel uncomfortable. Make you feel nervous and just stressed out, but in the best way possible. It's just,
I know, it's so gross. You're just like, oh my God. Ugh. Nasty.
Like, if there was one thing that I remembered about Good Time, it was his kissing.
It is. That and then like a scene at the almost very end of the movie.
Oh yes, but this is like definitely number one. Like, I mean, I remember after finishing the movie, I just kept thinking about that cringeworthy kiss.
Oh jeez, it's just like if you thought that Connie wasn't already a bad guy, like there you go. He's fucking terrible. Ugh. Like I wouldn't say I almost vomited, but it made me feel not good. I felt bad. I felt really terrible. It's just so good. It's so bad. Like it's so bad. But luckily that whole session ends when he starts hearing incoherent screams from the other room. Connie, it's a comedy of errors because Connie realizes that the man that he broke out of the hospital isn't his brother, but this random guy who got released on parole, a guy named Ray, who looks very suspiciously like Nick, so I can see why he might be mistaken as Nick too. He looks really like Benny Safdie. It is pretty funny.
Like, hey, you look like my brother.
Yeah, I know. What do you think of Ray? I would say he's probably my favorite character in this movie, aside from like Connie, because he's just so like funny and lackadaisical about everything.
I know. Like, I guess you could say he's sort of the comedic relief.
Yeah, and he is. He is basically the comedic relief of the movie. He's always like saying a bunch of random shit at like, he's like, man, dog, you think you're better than me? And then, well, that's later, but he's like, that type of shit. Like, this dude's a total scumbag, but he's super like, he's fun to watch. I'll put it that way. That's why I enjoy watching him, because he's just terrible.
Yeah, he's so entertaining, even though he's a horrible person.
He's entertainingly awful.
Indeed, exactly.
He's so bad. He's so bad. And just him and his wacky antics with, him and Connie's wacky antics in this movie is probably the most entertaining part of the film.
Oh, couldn't agree more. Like, Ray is my favorite character in this film other than Connie.
We also get a great. We end up getting a flashback to what happened to Ray as he narrates it, which is another one of my favorite scenes in the movie, is when he backtracks and explains what happened. Apparently, Ray got into a fight over this bottle of acid. Apparently, got into a fight with some drug dealers over a bottle that he had that was filled with very valuable acid, LSD. Call it whatever you want. And he decided, as a form of as a failsafe, he decides to stow the bottle at a Adventureland amusement park. Apparently, the LSD cost a lot of money. Some other drug dealers got mad at him, and they end up beating the crap out of him. Hence, that's why he went to the hospital. This is kind of why I like Ray. I like how he describes it. It's just like, he's all like, oh yeah. He's basically trying to make himself sound like the good guy. He's all like, oh man, I was just hanging out, slinging. And these guys just came out of nowhere and jumped me. And then it shows at the same time he's like ducking them, and they just beat the crap out of him. There you go. Again, he's just like entertainingly bad, an entertainingly awful person.
I know. He's so entertaining to watch, but man, you're a scumbucket.
Yeah, I know.
You're no different than Connie.
Yeah, I know. I know. He's just like a terrible person. And he's all like, "What?" And Connie's pissed because he thought this guy was his brother, and he's not. So he's just really upset about the whole situation.
He's like, I'm stuck with this guy who looks like my brother.
He's all like, "You're not my brother." He's like, "What the hell? Did you kidnap me? Do you work for whoever?" And he's all like, "Bro, I just, my bro, you're not my brother." And he's all like, "What? No, you're not." Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, it is.
So, Connie is understandably pissed that he ended up getting this idiot instead of his brother. So he decides to force Crystal to drive them to the hospital so he can get Nick. But unfortunately, because Connie had already broken in and stolen Ray away, the cops are already there and guarding the place. So, yep, they're fucked.
Completely fucked.
So, yeah. Hold on real quick. Keep the audience busy.
Alright. So, Connie gets Crystal involved in this.
Okay.
And if the night couldn't get any shittier, it's getting shitty for everybody here.
Alright, I'm back. What's up?
Okay.
What did I miss? I thought my dad was calling me.
You weren't gone for very long, so didn't miss much.
Didn't miss much. Yep. As if this night couldn't get any shittier. He failed, tried to drive over to the guy's house, or not the house, the hospital, and then the cops are already there, because, you know, cops aren't idiots. They're not like, I bet it'll be fine. I bet it was just like his cousin or something. Oh, jeez. So this is where Ray ends up telling Connie his story about he has an apartment where he can get some money, and Connie decides to go get the money and then the acid. So that's what he does.
Oh, boy.
So, another great scene, another one of my favorites, like top 5 scenes in this movie. So, the three drive to an Adventureland amusement park where Ray that's where Ray had put the LSD solution, and as well as several $1,000s. And this is before he ended up running, and he stole money before he ran to the police and injured himself. That's what happened. Not some guys beat him up. So they search for the money. Connie and Ray end up finding the bottle of LSD, but unfortunately, a security guard shows up. And and if it couldn't get any worse, the cops show up, and the guard is about to rat him out. So they smack him as hard. So Connie ends up beating the crap out of him. And then Connie steals the man's uniform, and Ray pours the LSD down the poor man's throat to make him incoherent.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I feel so bad for that security guard. He was just trying to do his job. And the three of them end up dumping then he's just going crazy. Then the cops show up, find him, and he starts freaking out. And they're all like, we'll take this black guy off your hands. Because social commentary. And of course they believe Connie over this crazy black guy who's on the ground. Even though Connie's the one who's breaking in. Ugh, jeez.
Social commentary, people.
Yep. Oh my lord. So Connie takes his uniform, ends up destroying a hard drive that contains security footage. Sadly, the cops show up and arrest Crystal, but Connie, interestingly, denies knowing Crystal as she's arrested before he ends up leaving.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
Crystal getting arrested?
Well, yeah, and Connie saying he doesn't know her.
Oh, completely shitty. First off, you dragged her into this situation, even though she didn't. She didn't even want to do it. Like you just met her. Like if Connie couldn't be a more awful person, like you dragging her into this and then saying like, oh, I don't know her. Man, you're a fucking scumbucket.
Yeah, no, he's just a dick.
but Robert Pattinson's performance, you just feel bad for him. It's so weird.
Yeah, I know. It's like Walter White or someone else of that range.
I feel bad for feeling bad for him.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Ray hid, and unfortunately, Crystal ends up getting arrested. And do you think that Connie was doing Crystal a favor, or do you think he was screwing her over?
I think he was screwing her over.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Oh boy! So, Connie and Ray end up escaping the area, and they end up breaking into the guard's high-rise apartment. I guess working at a shitty amusement park pays well, because the guard has a pretty nice apartment.
He does. It's very nice.
He also has a pit bull, but luckily it's blind, and can only tell if there's intruders by smelling the guard's jacket. So Connie lets the dog smell his jacket, and he ends up getting in. And Ray, being Ray, decides to just start drinking and getting wasted.
Typical Ray.
Connie, despite his sleazy appearance, tries to be a bit more professional and gets irritated at him for just drinking and getting wasted while on the job, and basically tells him that he is just a leech off of society, which is where we get the famous meme. He's all like, oh, so you telling me you're better than me? And he's all like, yeah, I am better than you. And the two just have a complete argument. And what do you think of this? What do you think of this?
Again, it's very uncomfortable because when you get the Safdie Brothers behind the camera, you know it's going to be very uncomfortable no matter what conversation it is. And these are just two people arguing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's not a scene that like for me it's like, oh, I definitely remember it. I like the kissing scene, but still pretty good.
Yeah, it really shows you who Connie is. He likes to think he's better than these other idiots that he likes to hang out with, even though he is one of those idiots.
Yeah, you're no better, Connie.
He's like chewing this dude out for getting wasted. I'm like, bro, weren't you the one who was making out with a underage black chick 5 minutes ago? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah. Talk about being hypocritical.
Yeah, no, it's just like, oh my god, this guy is just not on it.
Nope. What a scumbag.
Yeah. So Connie ends up getting ready to call his criminal friend called Khalif to buy back the LSD so that they could get the bail money. Well, Connie wants the bail money. He's probably just gonna cut if things go right. I bet he's just gonna abandon Ray and get the fuck out of there. So Khalif ends up showing up, and he's like this, I think if I remember, I think he's like Iranian or something.
Yeah, he is Iranian.
Something like that. He's like a white Iranian guy.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And so he shows up, and Connie ends up demanding the $15,000. He's like, I want $15,000. You need to get the hell out of here. And Khalif ostensibly agrees. So Connie ends up going into the other room, but Khalif ends up telling Ray that he really plans to retrieve a firearm and come back to kill Connie. So you're like, oh shit. As if this movie isn't already anxiety-inducing enough. What do you think, Jacob?
It went from like an 11 to like a 30.
Yeah, this film just keeps upping the ante, man. That's really all I can say. It's high caliber, constant bombardment, suspense, and tension throughout the entirety of this movie.
From beginning to end, it's just like, it gets on your nerves, and it's just so anxiety-inducing, as I said before, but in the best way possible.
Indeed.
It's like we're not given enough time to breathe.
Oh my god, no. You're constantly, again, like I said, you're just constantly getting bombarded with just, just how nuts this whole situation is.
Absolutely.
So Khalif ends up leaving, but Connie, he's smarter than you might think, ends up sensing, or maybe he's done this enough times, where he realizes that something is off. So he's like, "Fuck you guys, I'm leaving." And Ray, he doesn't really want him to leave, so he ends up attacking him, in order to prevent him from leaving. Sadly, though, the dog hits up the dog, thinking that Connie is the guard guy who they acided earlier. Ends up attacking Ray. Jeez.
Oh god.
I would say poor guy, but he is kind of a scumbag, so it's hard. It's kind of hard to feel sorry for him.
Yeah. I don't really feel, because you're just as big of a scumbucket.
Yeah, no, he just gets like really, So he ends up, so Connie ends up escaping and throws the acid away so that, ends up throwing the acid away so that Ray and Khalif can't get it. But sadly, he ends up getting ambushed by the police.
Yeah.
Ray ends up going back to the room and ends up calling Khalif, but he looks over the balcony. He ends up seeing that Connie just got arrested. So, in the meantime, Ray attempts to escape from a window and maybe grab the acid while he's at it. Sadly, or maybe not so sadly, he ends up falling to his death, which is actually, again, probably the other most memorable scene of this movie.
Oh, yes, definitely.
That, and when Connie sees it, and he just gets shoved in the back of the police car, and you can just see his face. And you can just see everything that he's thought of, everything that's happened to him. Which, very striking shot. What do you think of the scene, Jacob?
Oh, other than the kissing scene, this is definitely one of the most memorable scenes in the movie. Just him falling to his death. I'm just like, oh man, like I know he's a scumbucket, but it's kind of rooting for him at the same time.
He's the protagonist. We were rooting for him, and now he got caught. And I'm like, ow, come on.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Like, man.
Really hoping he got his brother out of there. But
man, like, it gave me chills down my spine.
I know, you're just giving the shivers while in the meantime. And then he gets caught, and then Ray ends up falling to his death, and that's just the ending of the suspense, basically, because Connie gets shoved into the car, and then we get a really great shot where it's all closed up to Pattinson's face as he considers all that's happened. I don't know why that is so memorable, but for some reason it is. Kind of reminds me of the scene at the end of The Long Good Friday. He just goes through a bunch of emotions as he's sitting in the car, knowing he's about to go to his doom. What do you think of the climactic sequence of the movie? It's a roller coaster.
Oh, I couldn't have said it better myself, it absolutely is a roller coaster. The climax of the movie, very strong.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have to say.
Okay. I was about to be like, dude, you gonna say any more? Just.
Like, nope.
Oh, jeez. That's all you're gonna say? Alright, so. Then the movie ends up moving up quick, and we end up realizing that Connie did end up getting arrested. Nick. Oh, what? You alright?
Oh, yeah.
No, I just heard a noise.
Oh, no. I haven't seen it.
Oh. So we end up ending with Nick in some sort of, like, therapy class, about to do, like, a group activity. And the therapist basically goes like, wow, I'm so glad that Connie is, he seems to be stepping up. And that part is kind of, like, annoying for some reason. It's just like, okay, thanks for spelling it out for me. I could have just put that together myself. But, the movie ends with Nick in a happier place, participating in a group activity. It seems like Connie has finally come clean about everything that's happened. And the therapist ends up promising him, Nick anyway, that he's probably going to have a good time. Title drop! So, that's the end of the movie.
Excellent movie.
Bit of a quicker episode today. But this is a very taut movie, so I'm not very surprised.
No, me either.
There's not much fat in it. It's just like, here you go, here's all the things that happen, and there you go. Just get what you get, buddy.
Exactly.
What did you think of Good Time?
Excellent movie. Very nerve-wracking from beginning to end. Makes your palms sweaty. Robert Pattinson gives a very, very believable performance. Phenomenal performance for Robert Pattinson, especially for his breakout role where people saw like, oh, he's a really good actor, actually.
Yeah, it's the movie where he finally started to kind of break out of the Twilight stuff, where everyone was kind of dunking on him before. Well, this is the movie where, you won't dunk on him now.
Yeah, where he proved the haters wrong. Where it's like, no, I can choose, I actually choose pretty good scripts, not the Twilight films, because I'm a good actor.
Indeed.
A Good Time, amazing film. Excellent. It's a
Indeed.
24 film, so what can you expect?
Indeed, it's a great movie about a guy who's just a huge douche, but he loves his brother, and he just wants to save his brother, and that's really his only redeeming aspect of his personality. Guy's just a dick.
Yep. But he loves his brother, so that's the only thing redeeming about him.
Yep, pretty much.
Other than the shitty things that he's done throughout the movie.
Indeed. But yeah, that was Good Time. One of the things I like about this movie is how it just keeps building the suspense, and I forgot to mention that, so I'm just going to mention it now. I really enjoy how it manages in such little time to build up such suspense through the filmmaking and the acting and just the writing, and I mean the dialogue. It's a very authentic movie.
It is. That's a good way to say it. It is a very authentic movie.
I've never lived in a grungy area in my life, but I feel like there's a sense of authenticity when you're watching this movie. You feel like you're in just the grungier parts of New York City that no reasonable person would go in the wake of the night.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just a great movie about just a desperate man trying to right a wrong.
Indeed.
And he kind of finally does the right thing. It's kind of left ambiguous at the end of the movie, but I really love how the movie just builds to the big climax, and then it's just all just nuts.
Oh, yeah.
And we even get, like, bits of the backstory where they had their grandma, and their grandma was really shitty to them. And Connie's the only person who, like, tries to, who, like, tries to be supportive of Nick during this time. Well, him and the therapist, anyway, are. I think the therapist does care about Nick. He's just, like, he just doesn't like Connie, because, obviously, Connie is not a good influence, even if he does care about, Nick.
Yeah. But after seeing what Connie has done, yeah, you're not a good influence for your brother.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about this movie is Robert Pattinson's performance. He's just so freaking believable in this.
Oh, yeah, he is magnificent here.
Yeah, apparently he dyed his hair a lot to the point where his hair started, like, falling out in clunks.
God.
Yeah, like, he was, like, really put himself into the role. And, yeah, I think it paid off. Like, he, like, walked around New York, he was talking with people, he hung out with some, like, former prisoners. It was nuts.
Oh, yeah. Commitment.
And apparently, like, Robert Pattinson had just wanted to work with, the Safdie Brothers after he saw a poster of their film Heaven Knows What, which I haven't seen. I've heard that's a good one, though.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
But apparently, he didn't even see the movie. He just saw, like, the poster, and he was so blown away by the photograph and the poster, he just, like, wrote an email to the brothers without knowing them, and he's all like, hey, I just want to work with you guys.
Oh, wow. But
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to work for the Safdie Brothers?
Yeah, I'm reading a little fun facts from the Villains Wiki. It also, apparently, Pattinson's performance in this movie is what convinced Matt Reeves to cast him in The Batman.
Well, there you go. And, perfect casting.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think there's even actually, like, a fun reference to Good Time. The store at the very beginning of the movie, it's literally called Good Time. I'm like, yeah, I saw what you did there.
But, nice.
I see what you did there. So, yeah. But, yeah, it's really a, apparently he even he even asked if he was Bradley Cooper's security guard, since, there were rumors that Bradley Cooper was making a movie being shot in Queens, so there you go.
Oh.
There you go. But yeah. Great movie. I actually like this a lot more than Uncut Gems. I don't know, I like the kinetic energy of this movie. Not that Uncut Gems doesn't have that. And I do enjoy Uncut Gems quite a bit. I don't know, I just like I don't really know what makes Good Time, like, more preferable to me than Uncut Gems. I think it's because I like heist movies when they're done really well. And this might be, like, the best, like, modern heist film aside from, like, The Town, which is a supremely underrated film from Ben Affleck.
Oh, yes. So good.
You really like Uncut Gems more. Why do you like Uncut Gems more?
I think it's a more uniquely crafted film than Good Time, for me personally. My reasons, I'll say that for our Uncut Gems review.
Mm-hmm. I see.
So, just to keep the surprise on why I like Uncut Gems more, I'll just save it for our review on that movie.
You know what? All right, I'll give you that. But yes, I'm not going to discount. I'm not going to diss on Uncut Gems, though. It is a great film. One of Adam Sandler's best performances, I think.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, I saw it with my dad, and my dad surprisingly enjoyed it, and my mom didn't. My mom hated it. She's like, what the fuck was that? And I'm all like, I don't know. We did get Julia Fox from Uncut Gems as well, for better or for worse.
Indeed.
Like, she's hot, but she's also like, she's kind of sus. How's that?
Yeah. Good way to say it.
She's kind of sus.
But man, I love talking about Uncut Gems. Can't wait for that episode.
But yes, I enjoy the Safdie Brothers. I enjoy Good Time. I enjoy Uncut Gems, but I think Uncut Gem or not Uncut Gems. Good Time is my favorite film out of their films so far.
Oh, I still love Good Time. Excellent film. I just
yes, most definitely, sir. Oh, most definitely, sir. I think it is. I think Good Time. I don't know if I'd say it's their best film. I think Uncut Gems is more polished, but I like Good Time more. I don't know. I think it has a grungier atmosphere, which I like more. Not to say that Uncut Gems doesn't have that, because it does. But I don't know. I just like Good Time more for some reason. I don't know why. Don't judge me, Jacob.
Okay. I won't judge you. I'll just secretly judge you.
Okay. I'll take it. I can't wait to see what the Safdie Brothers do next. I do want to see Heaven Knows What at some point. Which is like another movie they made. And then there's also some other stuff like they did called Daddy Longlegs, which I might see. Don't know about that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Good Time is probably my favorite of the Safdie Brothers films that I've seen so far. But Uncut Gems as well. I bet we'll talk about that at some point. I'm sure.
Oh, definitely.
Did you see Adam Sandler's like speech he gave when he won like the Independent Spirit Awards?
Oh, yes, I did actually.
Oh, it was so good. I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, see, he can be funny. Like, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with his comedy movies. Like,
yeah, I know. I think everybody does, or most people do. I don't think you're alone.
There are some I like Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore, which is my favorite.
Oh, Happy Gilmore. I am not sorry. I love Happy Gilmore.
Oh, yeah. Love Happy Gilmore. Easily his best comedy, in my opinion.
Oh,
but
yeah.
He'll make some horrible ones, like Pixels.
Oh,
Don't ever watch Pixels.
I remember going to see Pixels, and I was like, oh, man, this could be awesome. And then I saw it, I was like, oh.
I was like, yeah. This is terrible.
That was terrible. Oh God, I like the idea too. Like it was like a not a bad idea at all, and it just becomes awful. It's just terrible movie.
I was hoping it'd be great. It was just completely wasted potential. Like you get Chris Columbus on, it's like, and this cool concept, this cool idea.
It's like, oh, it should work.
We just get another Adam Sandler movie, and not the good kind.
And it didn't. I think Adam Sandler's a talented dude. Like I will say that my favorite dramatic thing he's done so far is Punch Drunk Love. I like Uncut Gems. I do enjoy Reign Over Me, but I do think that Punch Drunk Love is his best dramatic work for me.
In regards to performance, for me, I personally, Uncut Gems my favorite Adam Sandler.
I'm not surprised. That is a great movie.
Punch Drunk Love's a close second, though. He was excellent in that one.
That's another one I can't wait to talk about at some point.
Oh, yeah. I love Punch Drunk Love.
But back to Good Time. I really love this movie. I think this is one of Robert Pattinson's best roles. I'd love to see Robert Pattinson work with him again at some point.
Oh, please, dude. Please.
And I'm sure that the Safdie Brothers are not going to be against that proposition. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, me too. I am very excited to see what else the Safdie Brothers put out next.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
But yeah, so that's Good Time. That's Good Time. I really enjoy, much like Uncut Gems, I really enjoy how this film just keeps building just tension and anxiety, and then it finally explodes at the end of the movie. For like better climaxes, I guess you could say Uncut Gems might be the better one, but I just really like Good Time more, because I don't know, I guess it's just I prefer heist movies for some reason.
Oh, that's fair.
Also, I like Robert Pattinson quite a bit too, so that might feed it. He is one of my favorite concurrent actors, so I might be a little biased there. He is great though. This is really the film that signified the comeback. Like, he had done some like stuff like The Rover, which I haven't seen, but I've heard is great. But this was the one where everyone was like, "Wow, we were wrong about it." This was a movie where everyone was like, "All right, maybe we were wrong about Robert Pattinson." And then like The Lighthouse and Batman came in and just smacked all those.
Oh yeah, Robert Pattinson just keeps proving the haters wrong.
And I love every second of it.
Me too.
Yes.
Like,
let the haters' tears flow. No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
But yeah. So that's I think that's all I got to say about Good Time. Great film. Great just grungy atmosphere. I love the suspense. I love Robert Pattinson and Benny Safdie in this movie. They're clearly the best actors in this movie. I like the guy who played Ray. His name's like Buddy something. But yeah, I just love this movie. Oh, Buddy Durress. That's his name.
Oh, great movie. Love Good Time.
But yes, I love Good Time. I think it might be one of the best films of, like, one of the best, like, crime heist films that I've seen in a while. Aside from maybe The Town, which is underrated as fuck movie.
Absolutely.
Underrated classic. Indeed. So, in the meantime, we've been around recently. Jacob, you've seen some movies recently. What movies have you seen as of late?
Oh, I actually saw quite a bit, so I'm gonna keep us occupied for a while.
Oh boy.
I saw Lightyear on Disney Plus.
Oh yes, I saw you saw that. What'd you think of that? Was it any good?
It's pretty good. I liked it. Socks, the robot cat, easily the best part of the movie. I want my personal Socks. But the movie, it does have issues. It's no Toy Story, but it's still a really fun space adventure. And Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear, I thought was really good. And for me personally, it actually does sound like a younger Tim Allen.
Yeah, that's what I was going. I was kind of that's the only thing. I mean, he sounded good in the trailers, but I was like, oh boy. I'm like, I don't want the nostalgia to rule me, but like, I don't know how you're gonna beat. I don't know how you're going to beat Tim Allen.
The thing I love about it is that he's not trying to like copy off Tim Allen. He just does it his own way, and he does a pretty good job.
Oh yeah, I mean, I want to see Lightyear. I was kind of let down with the kind of meh response because the movie actually looked really good. I was like, oh yeah. Okay, like this actually looks pretty good. And then like the reviews were just kind of like, it's all right. And I was like, oh, wanted it to be better than that.
Yeah. I was kind of hesitant to see it in theaters, but I saw it on Disney Plus, give it a shot, and I liked it. Not one of Pixar's best films, but it's still a really fun movie.
Might have to check it out. I definitely do want to do a Toy Story-a-thon at some point. Not in the recent future, but because I kind of want to take a break from the thons until like October, because I want to wait till Halloween so we can do the Scary Movie-a-thon. Our first one. I'm very excited for it.
Can't wait for that.
I hope Jacob's good with it, because we've only talked about it a handful of times.
Are you kidding? I cannot wait.
Oh man.
Oh wait, you talking about the Toy Story-a-thon? Wait.
Oh no, I was talking about in October.
Oh, are you kidding me? I'm excited for that.
Oh, okay.
So I got some movies that we'll want to talk about.
Ah, very good.
On Halloween.
Oh, very good.
Get ready.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, so should be fun. But on the Toy Story-a-thon, not something I want to do in the near future, but it is something I would like to do at some point, because I love the Toy Story films.
Oh yeah.
Even 4, despite my initial cynicism.
Oh, despite everyone's initial thoughts. All of us were concerned about it.
I know. I was like boycotting the movie because I'm like, oh, dude, 3 was so perfect as an ending. Why do you need to make a 4? And then I saw 4 and I'm like, damn it, that was really freaking good too. Ugh.
I was just like, why do we need 4? 3 was the perfect ending. Why do we need 4? But then I saw the movie and I'm like, wow, another fantastic Toy Story movie.
I know, it's great. Not maybe not as deep as the other 3, but it's a good bookend for Woody's arc, I think. But I'll save that for the Toy Story 4 review.
Oh yeah, can't wait to talk about those movies.
What else have you seen over? I mean, you saw Lightyear, which I've heard there's people who've complained that there's like lesbians in it, which like why? Who cares? But I digress.
Yeah, so stupid. But I also saw The Gray Man, directed by the Russo brothers.
Oh, what'd you think about that?
That one sucked.
I actually heard it was fine. Like it wasn't that bad.
I didn't like it. It was very generic for me. Like the Russo brothers outside of the MCU films, I feel like they just have like kept going down. Like they're like Cherry with Tom Holland, very underwhelmed by that one, and The Gray Man, wasn't a fan of. So I'm disappointed by that. But it has exciting action set pieces, so there you go. Everyone in the film is giving it their all. Chris Evans, I would say, is my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, I've heard he really steals the movie.
Yeah, he just really chewed up the scenery. I loved it. But I also did see Nope yesterday, and I loved it. It slapped.
Yeah, it's wait, what did you see? What else did you see?
Oh yeah, Nope.
Oh, you saw Nope.
Yeah.
I also saw Nope, which I thought was fantastic. I give it a yep.
Yep. Nope. It was pretty dope.
But yeah, I thought Nope was very good. Is it as good as Get Out? Don't know about that, but it was very strong. I actually liked it a lot more than Us. Because Us is a complicated movie. I like Us quite a bit. The final twist, I'm not really sure how to feel about it, even though it is kind of built up throughout the movie. It's just like it's like a complicated thing. But Nope fucking slaps. I thought it slapped anyway.
Oh yeah, I loved it. Do I like it more than Get Out? I'll have to see it again, just to be sure. But Get Out's still my favorite of Jordan Peele's.
I don't think anything beats the climax of Get Out. I'm sorry.
Oh no! Hell no! That climax was pitch perfect.
Go watch our Get Out episode to hear us talk about it.
Oh yes, please do.
But you know, seeing something like Nope gives me some hope for some much needed drink of thirst to quench my thirst of original good movies coming out in Hollywood, because there's so few aside from maybe the MCU and Top Gun Maverick, and that's it.
Oh, yep. Speaking of the MCU, I actually just started watching Miss Marvel.
Oh, did you? What'd you think?
Really good so far. Extremely different from all the other MCU projects that we've seen. I've only watched 2 episodes. So far, I'm liking it a bit more than Moon Knight.
I know. I mean, I really liked Moon Knight. I haven't seen all of it, but I liked Moon Knight so far. But I was kind of like, man, could have been better. I think.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Yeah, that's exactly how I thought.
Oscar Isaac is amazing, though.
It's not terrible, but I was a bit underwhelmed. But Miss Marvel so far, really fun.
Oscar Isaac was amazing, though.
Oh yeah, him and Ethan Hawke were phenomenal.
Yeah. I know you saw E.T. again, but we talked about that last episode.
Oh yeah. Oh, love E.T. Top 3 of Spielberg films for me.
Yep.
It was even better seeing it in theaters.
Yeah, I bet that was like I said before. I think that it sounds like that was a very magical experience.
Oh, it certainly was very magical.
I actually recently rewatched Shane Carruth's Upstream Color, which is a great film. Nice little indie sci-fi flick from 2013. Which I think is great. I actually like it better than this time travel movie Primer. So there you go.
I've heard that.
Primer is also a lot of fun as well, but I really enjoy Upstream Color quite a bit. I don't know. I've been kind of lethargic when it comes to like seeing movies. I saw Samurai Cop last month, which that was fun. I saw both of those movies and they were freaking hilarious. I loved it.
Oh, you saw 2 as well?
Oh yeah, though I think it's more fun to watch to make fun of it rather than like actually sitting down and seeing it because. Oh boy, it's not a good film. It is not good. It is not good by any stretch of the imagination.
Another hilariosity comes.
Oh lord, jeez, Samurai Cop is freaking. I'd love to talk about Catwoman as well. That's just like, oh god, I can't wait for Catwoman at some point.
Oh god, I cannot wait. That's gonna be a fun one.
I want to rip into that movie. But now, maybe rip into it with love, you know?
Yeah. Like, it's so bad, but it's amazing.
Oh my god, it's great. I love it. And like the worst way to love something.
Oh yeah.
It's like loving getting viciously beaten somewhere. That's what it's like.
Exactly.
Oh god. I heard Prey came out, and I've heard that movie's actually pretty good, and I was really intrigued by the concept. So, I'll give that a strict maybe.
Oh yeah. I mean, I lost hope after The Predator, which I thought was horrible.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah, don't
after
watch
hearing
it.
It was bad.
It's very bad. Don't watch it. After seeing that film, I lost hope of any Predator movie that comes out. But Carlton has been nagging me to see it. He's like, dude, it's the best Predator film since the first one. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, you gotta watch it. I'm like, okay. I saw a trailer. It looks very good. So I definitely want to check it out soon.
Indeed. I'm looking forward to it, really. I remember a few months ago I saw Jackass 3.5, which I unfortunately was kind of let down by in comparison to the glorious masterpiece that is the first Jackass movie, which I have to say is the greatest dumb fun movie of all time. Or at least it might be my personal favorite, just dumb fun movie of all time.
No, you can't beat Jackass.
I know, it's early. It's something. I also, well, this was back in December, but I did rewatch The Green Knight again, and I loved it again, so there you go. That's all you know about that.
Hell yeah.
Oh, jeez. Not really much to talk. She-Hulk came out, I guess. That happened, and it's been getting a kind of mixed reaction.
Yeah, I watched the first episode.
I kind of mixed on watching it because Charlie Cox's Daredevil is apparently going to be in it. But also I've heard that I've also heard the show's kind of alright, so, I mean, we'll see. I might check it out at some point. I kind of really want to see Miss Marvel and finish up Moon Knight. But again, I'm kind of trying to take a break from the MCU right now, so, you know, there you go. It's proving to be hard, but I'm trying, so there you go.
But one thing I'll definitely be seeing when it comes out next month, the No Way Home extended cut. I can't wait for that.
Oh, yes, that is coming out, isn't it?
Yes. If there's one thing I want to see is more of the 3 Spider-Men hanging out.
Oh, yes, that'd be great. I am actually tempted to go see, because, you know, Green Knight might have been my favorite movie of last year, but, like, Spider-Man No Way Home is, like, a really close second.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, it was my favorite from last year.
Oh, I know. I don't blame you. It's just like, so good. I love it. I mean, I like Green Knight more because of the quality, but like Spider-Man No Way Home is just my favorite. Oh, yes, this is what I freaking needed.
Yes, just like one of the greatest, like, just like fanboying out movies.
Oh, it's like one of my favorite theater experiences, to be sure.
Oh, it's my favorite by far.
Most of my theater experiences haven't been that memorable, but No Way Home was probably one of the most memorable theater experiences I've had.
Oh, by far. Like, I've never been in a theater where everyone was cheering and screaming to the top of their lungs. Not even an Endgame. For me personally. The theater I went to, they sucked when we saw Endgame.
Mine was pretty good, because I remember when Cap caught Mjolnir. I might save this for the review, but when they caught Mjolnir, everybody gasped.
Oh, my theaters just clapped. Well, me and my friend were gasping.
Like, I'll admit though, the final scene of that movie, I'll probably go more in detail, but the final scene of that movie, that literally almost made me cry. I don't know why at all. Not Iron Man, not the Iron Man death. That was really well done. The final scene of that movie, it's just like, oh god, just like it almost coaxed some tears out of me.
I rarely ever cry.
Yeah, I know. I may be a cold-hearted bastard, but I do have emotions in there somewhere. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, though. It's a great time.
Man, Top Gun is slaying it at the box office still.
I know. My dad was like, "Oh, I wonder if it's gonna be on this." We call her Grandma Chris. But I'm not actually related to her. She's related to my cousins. But she gets like movies on her thing. I'm actually gonna check to see if she has Everything Everywhere All at Once, because I actually really want to see that movie. But
you need to.
I know I want to, and everyone's like, "Bro, it's so good. It blows Multiverse of Madness out of the water." And
it does.
And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a look-see then.
It's so good.
Just fantastic.
Wow. Jurassic World Dominion hasn't even passed $1 billion.
The sad part is I'm not even really that surprised. But
I'm not either. I wasn't surprised when the reviews came out and people said it was even worse.
It's a well-polished piece of shit. It's like if Roger Deakins filmed a turd sitting in the grass.
Exactly. I can't wait for me and Ray to bash on Fallen Kingdom.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I can't wait for that episode.
I bet you guys will just love it, and I'll just be sitting there annoyed that you guys made me watch it, because I've avoided it because I don't want to watch it. I know it's probably gonna be bad. I'm just not seeing it, and they're like, "You're gonna see it," and I'm all, I don't want to.
But hey, you can just sit back and get some popcorn and just enjoy us discussing about Fallen Kingdom.
Oh God, yeah, I hate it. I was like, Jurassic World was so mediocre. I was like, God, I don't want to see any of those movies. I don't want to see any more of them. All right. Oh God, just terrible film, terrible movie, overall.
I know. Fallen Kingdom was awful, and yeah, Hurt Dominion was even worse. Not surprised. If it's on TV, I might consider watching it, but I'm not going to go on my way to see it.
Indeed, I'm not looking forward to watching it again. Not again. I haven't seen it, and I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. How's that? It's like, take that.
Hey, I don't want to either, so there you go. After Fallen Kingdom, boy.
Oh boy. I don't really want to see it, so there you go. I've been rewatching Breaking Bad again. I'm addicted to that show. It's so good. And also Better Call Saul ended recently, and so that's probably why I rewatched it.
Gotcha.
I watched Daniel Green the other day. He runs a new channel called The Discussion. He's talking about AFI top 100 movies of all time. And I'm like, huh. And he's doing like a challenge where he talks about all those movies. And I'm like, huh. Maybe we should be total hacks and completely rip them off and do the same thing at some point. But, you know. But then again, I thought, God, you want us to die? Like,
Jeez, dude.
He talked about Citizen Kane. He was all like, it's kind of boring. And I was just like, blasphemy!
Citizen Kane.
Though, in all honesty, I don't blame them. I can see where they're coming from. It took me a while to appreciate Citizen Kane, too. So, it's fine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not one of my favorite... It's not my favorite movie of all time, but it's still a great movie.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. It has become one of my favorites. It's one of those that grew on... It's one that I really appreciated when I first saw it. And just seeing it again. It's one of those movies you watch it again, and you really begin to really, Also with the presidency we had right before our president, Joe Biden, that really made Citizen Kane be like, wow, this was really timely. Not to get too political on the show. We try to keep out of that type of stuff. But that's what I'm thinking. Let's see what else has been going on recently. Aside from She-Hulk. Nope. I don't know. We just talked about Nope. Is there any other movies you've seen recently, Jacob?
Nope. I did watch the first episode of She-Hulk. It's alright so far. But other than that, I only saw Nope. But I do want to see Bullet Train because that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've seen the trailers and it looks really sleek. And I'm like, that could either be really terrible or just a lot of fun if they play it right.
Yeah. I mean, I saw Chris Stuckman talk about it, and he really enjoyed it. So.
He also enjoyed Bodies, which surprised me because I'm like, interesting. Still didn't see The Green Knight, though? You bastard!
Yeah. And even if he did, where's the review?
It's like, you didn't see it? Or did you not like it? Yeah, I'd like to know, Chris.
It's like, just give us something.
It's killing me on the inside. Alright, I did decide to say that I'm adding Batman to my favorite movies, at least right now. Because I do love that film quite a bit. It's a great film.
Oh, yeah. So far, it's my third favorite film this year.
Matt Reeves, baby, I love you. You know? It's like that.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson, baby, I love you. You know, that kind of thing. Oh!
Yeah.
Yes, I did see The Sandman recently. This past week, I saw the whole season. Unbelievable. It was so good. I was a little wary. I was like, I like the comics quite a bit, and I'm like, all right, let me see how the show fares. And let me tell you, it fucking ruled. Loved it.
I'm glad to hear, because I really wanted to check it out, but I was nervous.
Yeah, Carlton was like bugging me about it, and he was like, unofficial third member. And Ty, who did the Thor-thon with us, he was like, bro, gotta check this out. It's great. And I'm like, all right. I'll see if it's good. I watched the first episode. Fucking outstanding. Great stuff. It does start a little slow, but it's fantastic all the way through. I love it. Can't wait to see what they do next.
I can't wait to check it out.
Up there with Batman is probably my favorite comic book adaptation this year.
Oh.
That got your attention?
Yeah, yes, it did. That's it. You just need to say that. And I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going to watch it.
MCU has been kind of iffy. I was about to say, yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder was kind of a letdown for me anyway. I gave it 3.5 stars. There was some good stuff in there, but I was a bit let down by the whole thing.
Yeah, our episode was very salty.
Yeah, there was some salt in that episode. Though Korg was in it, so that made me feel a little better.
Oh yes,
because Korg is always great. Yeah, Carlton the other day, I was talking about, like, movies that would be bad if, like, two people came together. He's like, oh, it's like if Taika Waititi or Joss Whedon made a movie. And I just had, like, an inner panic attack. He said that. Because I'm like, they actually make good movies, but I digress.
I'm surprised you didn't mention James Gunn.
Oh. Yeah, for some reason he doesn't like James Gunn. Has he ever told you why? Because the only reason he's given me is, he has crude humor. And I'm like, okay, Family Guy also has crude humor. Well, like, what's your point? But I digress.
There's no humor in Family Guy. Like, fucking hate.
The less said about Family Guy, the better.
Yeah, the less we discuss it, the better.
Because then that would just turn into an hour-long rant. So I don't want to put myself through that today.
One day, because I like your little rants.
Yes, he likes my rantiness.
Yes, I do.
Another movie-thon I'm looking forward to is the Lord of the Rings-a-thon, because I just can't wait to. Yes. I can't wait to geek out about Battle of Helm's Deep, because it's one of my favorite cinematic battles of all time.
Oh God, my favorite movie trilogy of all time.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, Peter Jackson, man, that guy is he at least with the Lord of the Rings, that man was a maestro, and it's just I loved it.
Me too.
Just
can't wait for that.
I'm always late to the draw, but I got to Lord of the Rings in middle school, and I loved it. I loved the 3 movies.
Oh yeah, all of them are fantastic. Can't wait for that.
Might even get Ty on, because he also really enjoys those movies.
Would that be fun?
Indeed, sir. At least I'm looking forward to it.
I'm just looking forward to when Carlton's going to come back on your unofficial third member.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I say, oh, no. I love having him on. He's always... Some of my... I really love the episodes when he's on, because it's always just a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
He just says the most outlandish things, and I'm like, this episode's going to be great.
I'm like, yes, this is why we love Carlton.
It's like, he's like, let's just bring up some really outlandish, crazy stuff going on here, and we'll have a good time.
Indeed.
Oh, yes, I did see Pete's Dragon a few months ago, the David Lowery version, and I loved it. So, I don't care what anyone says.
So good.
I don't care what anyone says. I thought it was great.
I say it's the best Disney live-action remake, that and The Jungle Book.
Well, I was about to say, that and The Jungle Book, most definitely. I want to see the original Pete's Dragon, because I've heard that one's fun, but I'm kind of nervous, 'cause I've heard it's not that great.
It's alright, but the animation, it does not hold up at all.
Yeah, I saw a clip, and the animation just looked awful.
Yeah, the animation clashed with the live action. It does not hold up at all.
Might have to check that out. There's a bunch of movies. I have a bunch of movies on my watch list I want to see, but I just haven't gotten around to it because, fun times.
Indeed.
But I might say Nope might make it in my top 10 of this year because that was just a fantastic movie.
I really want to see it again.
Oh yeah, one of my uncle's friends said he watched our show. And apparently he just got lost because we were just talking about stuff he wasn't getting. I don't know. I wonder which episode it was he was watching. My dad didn't specify. I think he said the Batman, but I wasn't sure. But I was like, we don't go into that like deep territory. We usually just talk about what we like about the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, we might say things like cinematography or whatnot, and even then, like, okay, maybe sometimes we do kind of jump into nerd territory, but like, come on, guys, it's not like we try to be accessible on the show.
Yeah. Like, and can you blame us for fanboying out? Like No Way Home, for example. Like, come on.
Yes, I generally like talking about movies I enjoy rather than movies I don't like, unless they're like enjoyably bad. Then in that case, I'm fine. There is a certain fun in ripping in bad movies, but you know, I like to talk about good movies.
Oh yes, most definitely.
Oh boy. Yeah. Not really much else to talk about. There hasn't been much going on recently. Or, well, there has been, but, you know, not really stuff I want to talk about.
Yeah, me either.
But aside from that, not much has been going on. It's been kind of slow this year. Been some great movies out this year, though. 2022,
Oh, yeah.
maybe not 2027, or maybe not 2017 tier of, like, banger after banger movie, but we've had some good ones this year.
Yeah, so far, we've got some really good movies this year.
I really enjoy the bangers of this. I really, like, maybe, like, the Batman, Nope, and, maybe I'll save that for my, like, top, you know, 3. Maybe I'll save that for our top movies of 2022 list, but, Batman and, the Batman and, Nope are definitely in my top 10 movies of the year. So far.
Oh, definitely for me. Everything Everywhere All at Once is so far my favorite film this year.
Oh yes, and Top Gun Maverick. That film was fantastic.
Oh yes, definitely my list.
Even wrote a review over it. I did it for work, but I ended up writing it, and I'm like, all right, we're good to go. So anyway. I think this is a good place to wrap up as any. Next episode, what are we gonna do? Well, I'll admit I once again kind of procrastinated on it until the last second. I decided on Honey Boy though, because I thought that would be a fun movie to talk about. What do you think, Jacob?
Honey Boy, I'm down for that.
Honey Boy, yeah.
Great film. I love talking about it.
Yeah, I think Honey Boy is a great movie, and I thought, this will be a good one. We've both seen this, and we enjoyed them.
Good choice.
But, yes, but yeah, so Honey Boy it is. We're going to be doing Honey Boy next week. Hopefully because my college is starting this week, so hopefully... actually, my new job and college is starting this week, so hopefully my schedule won't get too wonky so we can do it, but I'm sure I can find the time to do our next episode, so I'm not too worried, but it is something to be cautious about, so. But yes, I'm looking forward to talking about Honey Boy.
Me too.
So yeah, I think that's our episode about Good Time. I've been Britton.
And I've been Jacob.
And we do it for the love of the movies.
Yes, we do.
Kind of want to do that thing from Nope when she spins around. She's like, ever since movies have been made, we've got skin in the game. It's like that.
Oh, yes.
One day we'll talk about Nope. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. So, yeah. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.